And a blast from the past tonight, Carmen. Remember Carmen? Carmen's back in the country for this weekend's Hero Parade.
Hi everybody, I won't be long. I'm just putting on my last bit of Lipion and I'll be out to see you.
An icon. She is an icon, but first we came to know her in Wellington and then her fame spread through the country. This in the 70s. I'm talking about Carmen. At one point, you remember, I think the 77 mayoralty election in Wellington, she came close to becoming mayor. Well, she scored a good vote. She owned a coffee bar in Wellington, a nightclub as well called the Balcony. She's a drag queen, and her staff were drag queens. It was a whole different world. And it occurred to us today, as we sat around contemplating Carmen having on the programme, that perhaps we've forgotten, and perhaps we never did understand at the time, what a pioneer Carmen was. She was a man, and she dressed like a woman, and she was open to the world, and she declared herself to the world. And then, of course, she upped and went to Sydney, and now she's back to start the Hero Parade. So I've got Carmen with us, but also at Wellington, we've got Georgina Beyer as well, with the coming of the Hero Parade, because the coming of Carmen to the studio, which is a grand occasion, Georgina.
It most certainly is a grand occasion.
You look wonderful. You still look wonderful.
Thank you.
You, may I ask how old you are now?
Well, I was born in 1936, Paul. I was born in 1936. I'm a Libra, the 10th of October, and coming up, I'm going to be 65 years.
65 years old.
But if I got a toy boy, I'm 45.
Yes.
Where are they?
At the time, you know, when you opened your nightclub, you were so open about yourself. Yes. I mean, this is what was it endeared you to the people of Wellington?
I think it was because I went to, in the 50s, in late 50s and 60s, I went to King's Cross, and I got that wonderful education over there, working with the beautiful Carlotta shows. And when I came back to open up my own coffee bar and striptease club here in Wellington, and I even said when I was 18 that I was gay, I was a homosexual, I was never been ashamed of it. And when I came back to Wellington for the coffee bar nightclub, I said to my staff and I, we are going to be honest, we are drag queens, female impersonators, we are transsexuals, or we are the homosexuals, and we are going to be what we are. If the public or the straight people don't like it, not a problem, but just to be honest with yourself. And if people don't like it, well, they've got the problem, we haven't.
Yes.
And it worked.
And it worked.
Thank you.
Yeah. You are still a man?
I'm still a man. I haven't had a sex change. I've only had my bust down, but it doesn't worry me anymore. Yes, doesn't worry me.
You have been badly beaten up upon several times when people found out you were a man.
That's right,
but,
yes.
You know, you still had the business.
That's right, yes, that's right.
What did Carmen, Georgina, you know, when you were growing up, when you were coming into your maturity, what did Carmen and her establishments and her openness represent to you?
Oh, well, it would have been typical of, I would have been typical of a young transgender in transition who was very fortunate to come across someone like Carmen and her establishments. She was not only out and proud of who she was, but she provided through her establishments a place where we could belong. Society in New Zealand 25 years ago when I was coming out on the scene was quite cruel, and it must have been even worse when Carmen was young and growing up and transitioning. She pushed the boundaries, and not only that, she managed to endear herself to people because of her warmth of personality. And we have to remember that some of the establishments, the Balcony, the Cabaret Club and the Carmen's Coffee Lounge, were infamous, and all sorts of people, highbrow, lowbrow, used to go. No,
but they had a lovely feeling about them too, I seem to remember. I mean, you know, the coffee place one was always treated courteously and so forth. And in terms of the knocking down of the walls, knocking down of the prejudices, is she a pioneer? Did she lay the way for you, for example,
I think,
to be elected to public office without anybody blinking an eye in New Zealand?
Yes, I certainly think that Carmen made a huge contribution for us all in the gay community in its general sense.
You've already met each other since you arrived back in New Zealand. You've already run into each other. And
I got slightly involved with Carmen toward the end of her mayoral campaign in '77, and so we all thought that was pretty amazing. When it comes some years later, my own entry into public life, Carmen was always one of those mentors saying, you know, you are one of the people I want to do this for, as well as the rest of us, you know.
You were born in the 1950s. You left school.
30s.
Pardon me, 1930s. You left school at 15 for an apprenticeship in the sawmill.
Yeah.
Then after that, somehow this is Tamarunui.
Yeah.
You ended up in the army. After the army, you went to Sydney. You came back to Wellington. That's when you became a very successful businesswoman.
That's right.
But so you had those establishments, but it was the leases up and the buildings being sold that messed you up.
That's right.
You went back off to Sydney.
That's right.
Have you done as well there? Have you gone into business?
I'm not saying I'm doing well, but the thing is that I don't worry for my age. But I'm pleased that Carlotta and all the other clubs and cabarets give me some show work there, and I've done about 30 clubs since I've been back there, and I've been very pleased and very honoured, and Carlotta and I do a lot of charity work too.
Why would you not have set up another business, knowing that it did work very well, your approach?
You mean here or
in Sydney, another restaurant?
Well,
cafe?
I wouldn't do it. I tell you why is that when I was here, I had that wonderful staff, because I had prostitutes, lesbians and gay guys and transsexuals and drag queens all working for me, a great staff. But over there, of course it'll be good too there, but the rents are too dear, Paul.
You work a lot with street kids?
That's right.
What do you do?
Well, we just go out and raise money, what we can get, and whoever's organised, it might be the Salvation Army or the Wayside Chapel. They sort of collect the money and it goes for the needies around King's Cross.
Tell me about the trapdoor. Somebody just told me I've got to ask you about the trapdoor.
The trapdoor, I forgot about
the trapdoor. In the cafe. Wasn't there a trapdoor in the cafe?
Oh, I was with the carpets, Georgina.
Yes, with the carpets.
Oh, that's what happened was when Georgina came into the coffee bar one time, this guy said, "Oh, she's gorgeous. Who is she?" I said, "Oh, she's just one of my girls. Do you like to see her?" So he said, "Yes, I do like to see her." So I said, I used to run upstairs, a bit of an entertainment room for the guys. See, there was coffee downstairs, pink coffee upstairs, you see.
Yes.
So I said, "Georgina," I said, "he wants to go and see her." So he went out the front door, and Georgina went out the trap door in the coffee shop. And the trap door was, we had this big, huge Egyptian carpet hanging over a door, and no one knew but the staff, and that's where the girls went, behind the trap door, on this bit of Egypt carpet, and go upstairs and look after the men.
Don't you love hearing this, Georgina?
Oh, yes, just
I honestly didn't know what the story of the trapdoor was. Anyway, so very, very briefly, Carmen, it's lovely to see you again. You're looking so well. What is the Hero Parade represents to you? What? I mean, it's a real. It's on,
as we say, Saturday evening. Thank you, by the way, to Mr. Wells, what's his name? Peter Wells.
Peter Wells.
And Catherine and the producer of Hero for bringing me here. It means that it's going to be our night, and we're going to be who we are and what we are, and who cares.
People will love to see you again.
Thank
Welcome
you.
back.
We'd love to see them tonight.
Yeah.
On Saturday night.
Yes.
I'm jet lagged, and of course the beautiful Georgina Beyer.
Georgina Beyer, thank you very much, Labour MP Georgina Beyer and Carmen.
See you Saturday, Georgina.
Okay, Carmen.
All the very best
Thank
to you.
It's been a pleasure.
Those were our people today. That's Holmes tonight.
Thank you.